DJ Leroy.
Night Watchman, how you doing, buddy?
I'm well. How are you?
Good, good. So, Night Watchman, you know I never ever get tired of speaking to creative folk. Never get tired of that. What about
Me
you?
neither. Me neither. Absolutely.
Are you sure? Are you sure? I
Well,
have to check now. I'm not bringing any smoke. I swear, I'm not bringing any smoke.
You are bringing smoke because you know we're both married to creative people. So if we didn't like talking to creative people, we would be in.
That's
deep,
right. Divorce
deep
or something. That's right. Yes, you're right. You're right. So having said that, we're actually going to bring on a veteran of Soul Lounge Primetime, and that could only be. And you know what? She came from the West Coast. It could only be the one, the only Judy. Got to bring her up here. Yes, Judy.
Hello.
Welcome back. It's been too long.
I know it has. I haven't seen you guys in a long time, in an age.
Yes.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And you know what? You're not going to be alone, Judy. We have somebody that said bringing some of the young heat, the young energy to this forum. It can only be, as a matter of fact, and I'm going to call her part of family because John and Santa are family. And she's also married to a family, that's Gabriel. It can only be Charlene Jean. Bring her up. Yes.
Hey, y'all.
Hey, how you doing?
Oh, I'm
you
great.
Too. Man. And you know what, Bob? I haven't really spoken about this, but she definitely has some pipes. She can sing. Sigh.
I've heard. I've heard. I heard.
Okay.
You flatter me. Thanks, y'all.
And of course, she's going to also tell us about this wonderful woman I'm about to bring up, who is the lead in a creative work that she's done, and it could only be Subia Mboya. Bring her up here. Yes. Yes. How you doing? Yes. Uh-oh. She's on.
You're on mute.
Oh, I'm doing so well. Good evening. How are you?
Great.
Great. So you know what? I started off with this veteran here, Judy. It's fine. Judy, what the heck were you doing there on the West Coast? I mean, was that part of your journey? So do tell us what's going on here.
Well, you know what? I would love to say I spent 2 weeks pitching wonderful ideas, but you know what? I did. I spent a couple of weeks pitching wonderful ideas to my granddaughter, who's 2. Ideas like, do you want to play with that? You know what? And you guys talk about being a creative, right? There is nothing more wonderful to me than getting down on the floor and playing food or playing little miniature. I swear to God, that is my happy place. That is my creative happy place. And I come away from there feeling really, really joyous. So I have to say, it was a wonderful, wonderful time.
Nice.
And she's probably the only 2-year-old that knows 3 and 4 act structure.
That's right. That's right. It's funny. I brought her to my last playwriting class at NYU, and I said, "You want to make up a story?" She's 2. She talks like, she's crazy talking. She says, "Yes." I said, "Who's in your story?" She goes, "A dog and a robot." I was like,
oh my God. Yeah, as I say, you cannot make this stuff up. I love it. What was that thing? I think was it Art Linkletter or one of the things that kids say.
That's right. Oh, she's hilarious. Her favorite artist is Snoop Dogg.
Okay.
Wow.
Snoop Dogg has some really, really funny kids songs, and she's like into it.
Oh man, loving it. Wow. Well, you know what, Charlene, I got a glimpse of it in terms of your creative talents, and unfortunately, it was, of course, at a sad occasion. It was the memorial for my brother John.
Yeah,
but Oh, love him, man. But you have to tell me, this creative journey, have you always been on this track?
Yeah, I mean, I was always the child who couldn't really shut up. So I would be in the middle of church, and I grew up at a Haitian Seventh-day Adventist church, and
Ooh,
I would get
yes.
in trouble because I was singing Tony Braxton, "Don't Break My Heart" in the middle of sermons. They're like, not only is this secular, this is sexy. How dare you? Get out! And from there, a star was born. I think that's how I
Wow.
feel.
Love it, love it, love it. So now this particular journey of this play, you got to tell us. So the impetus, tell us.
Yeah, so it was 2020. We were just staying inside, and I was living right by the Lincoln Terrace. And this is right by the Eastern Parkway. And
Mm,
I was living on like a sixth floor, a building that was really run down, and I was really wanting to move out and things like that. And I don't know if y'all remember when all those fireworks were hitting the buildings that summer. It was a
mm-hmm.
really intense time. My walls were shaking, and I feel like all of this
Wow,
had me feel
wow.
like we are in a tumultuous space. And
Mm-hmm.
so my little brother was staying with me, and I was looking up because schools were down. I was like, let me look up
Mm-hmm.
some education, child. Let's get you something to do. And so
Mm-hmm.
I ran into this video from a great historian, archivist, Erica Buddington. They're a
Mm-hmm.
native New Yorker as well, and they were talking about the land that I was on. They were talking about,
Wow.
hey, did you know that the Eastern Parkway used to be this land called Weeksville? It was a
Wow.
Black
Yes.
Wow.
enclave of the 18th century. And I found out that essentially the burial grounds were exhumed to make room for the development of Brooklyn. And of
Incredible.
course,
Mm-hmm.
seeing the gentrification of Brooklyn, all these things were happening at once. I said, oh, there's a spiritual upheaving happening on this land. And so I started to write a story about what if there's a child who can actively see the spirits with their natural eyes? And what if through ancestral trauma and drama, there is a mother who is interested in protecting the child from seeing these spirits. So they create some like spirit blockers. I've always just made them sunglasses, but imagine these are like holographic. I can't see them. Janet Jackson, you know what I'm saying? But
Yes.
that's where I got
Nice.
the concept, and so it became this futurist world of relating to the spirits and the ancestors.
Oh, beautiful, beautiful. And Subia, you have to tell
Yeah.
me that, what attracted you to the
Yeah.
story, and immediately, and also become the lead. Do tell.
Right, right. So I believe I joined the project about maybe 2 or 3 years ago at this point. And what drew me to the story was just how luscious and rich and well crafted and well thought out like the whole story was. And
Mm,
as soon as I read like the audition materials, I immediately just felt tapped into the story because I was like, wow, this is a story that resonates with me not only as an artist but especially as a Black artist.
mm-hmm,
um
mm-hmm.
and I was just like, I would love to be a part of this. So I sent in
Yes.
my audition materials, and when I heard back, I felt so much glee and so much peace as well, because I was
Nice.
just like, I'm gonna get to create with some amazing, amazing artists, and then hence the journey started.
Oh,
Yeah.
beautiful, beautiful. And Night Watchman, I saw you immediately, like kind of like chime in terms of Weeksville. You knew, but Night Watchman, did you also know why do we have Central Park and what was the village there?
Are you talking about what is it? Why I'm
Seneca
having a
Village.
Seneca
Seneca
Village.
Village.
Yes, yes, yes. I'm having had a brain freeze
Uh,
there, but yes, I'm aware
okay.
of both those places. Have you been, by the way, Curtis? Have you been to the Weeksville Heritage Cultural Center?
The short answer is yes, and I happen to be good friends with Rob Fields, but that's another story. Okay.
Oh, you
But
dropping names already?
yes, I'm dropping
Okay.
names. Yes, yes, yeah, but having said that, Judy, you have to tell us the
Yeah.
impetus in terms of American Slavery Project.
Well, it's so funny. This is all so beautifully connected. I don't know if your listeners remember, but the American Slavery Project was created about a decade ago to really honor the ancestors and to as a theatrical response to revisionism in this country's conversation of
Yes,
Black
yes.
people in
Hmm.
America, and
Hmm.
not just, but the whole African diasporic community, so to speak.
Mm.
And the first project that we ever did was based on the burials at the African burial ground in Lower
Mm.
Manhattan. I
Oh
was
yes,
looking at
Foley Square. Yep. Yep.
that's right. And I was
Mm.
looking at those in, engravings at the memorial outside of the small museum there, and I said, "Wow, these look like headstones, except for
Mm.
they don't have any names, and
Right.
headstones have names, right?" And so then I
Hmm.
commissioned a lot of writers, about 17 writers, to study colonial New York between
Hmm.
1690 and 1790, when the burial
Yeah.
ground was open. And then we created a piece called Unheard Voices, and that's based on imagine people. The artists were
Hmm.
riffing on the history and the bones and the artifacts that were
Mm.
excavated during. They found them during the excavation for the federal office building, and
Hmm. Hmm.
that was our first piece, and that really sort of launched the American Slavery Project at that time. So
Mm.
it's just that we have so much in common about our
We
interests
do.
and our right.
Hey, well,
I,
hey, is
Judy,
that
I would
why I
love.
said that's right? Collaboration. Go ahead, take it, Charlene.
Thank you. Oh my gosh, I'm percolating right now, so don't mind me.
Yeah.
So a couple things I wanted to mention. Bricks actually
Hmm.
performed at Weeksville about
Wow.
3 years ago, and so we were on the land, we were in front of the houses, we toured, we learned. I actually brought on Erica Buddington to be like our archivist. And they're at Harvard right now, so I'm doing a little sprinkle, sprinkle. That's my friend. My friend's at Harvard right now.
Nice, nice, nice.
And
Yes.
so one thing about Bricks is that it's a tour, so it actually goes to several Black enclaves. So we were at Weeksville this year. We're actually going to be focusing on Washington Square Park and the African burial
Yes.
grounds, focusing on Little Africa, Minetta Lane, Potter's Field, that
Wow.
kind of area. And so, for the audience who might not know about Rose Butler was the last Black woman. Some content warning, it's going to be talking about state violence.
Mm.
So, just giving people a moment to adjust if they need to.
Mm. Hmm.
But Rose Butler was the last Black woman to be hanged by the state because they were
Wow.
tried for arson for burning down their enslaver's house or attempting to burn down their enslaver's house. They were 19 at the time, and they were witnessed by a spectacle of 10,000 people. So, like a big parade of state violence. And the
Wow.
Supreme Court said, hey, you attempted arson, and this is the law. And so right now, I'm just thinking about the preciousness of children, innocence, being 19 and having to make those kind of decisions. And that brings me back to what you were saying about the burial experiences. One thing we found in our research was that they would put pennies on the children's eyes so that
Wow.
they didn't have to look back at the past that they saw, so that they could be children again, and have that innocence and that preservation of innocence. So I've really been exploring being 19. What is the law? What is sanity making when the law is fascism right now? When the law is subjugation, and how is their future vision in saying, despite this, I know I'm free. I see the person inside of me that's free. How do you lash out and respond to this? Is death a failure? What about the unfinished business of our martyrs that have passed
Yes.
to benefit our human evolution of equity in this world? And what can we as the living do to see them? And for parents, how do we find ways to protect our children when in reality we're harming them because they have to see the pain of the world? Where
Yes.
is that? Yeah.
Absolutely. And Night Watchman, certainly we're traveling now uptown. We're traveling to Harlem, to East Harlem, 126th and 2nd Avenue. Oh my God, what was discovered there?
Another
Bones of
burial
four.
ground.
Bam! There you go. Very good, Night Watchman. You know, I'm impressed with you. You know this. Yes. So, needless to say, and Judy, I'm going to come back to you in a few, but I understand that we also have some music. Can I hear a little something? What you got going on, Night Watchman?
Well, Charlene, what do we want to hear?
Okay, so first, I would love for us to play "Let Me In" rehearsals. That actually features Subia. This was last year, and we were over at High Arts in Harlem. So that's a morning start.
Okay. Very nice. Very nice.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Yeah,
yes. Bravo. Okay, so I'm going to take. That's right. So I'm definitely taking a leap, okay? Because understand that you guys are cousins. So it's absolutely, that is genetic, okay? Because I've heard you, Charlotte. So it's genetic. Yes, I'll say it. That's right. So having said that, I'm going to put somebody on blast here now. Because certainly we see that, I believe it's on Broadway now, they have this thing called like Suffs. And I'm thinking, Judy, how the heck did that make it? And, the parlor, like, come on now. Come on. We talk about.
I am really, what I'm so proud of in the parlor. And I don't know if you guys remember my very close friend and colleague who's done several of my plays, Resurrect, Stroman Wheeler.
Yes.
Yes. She took the play and in the parlor and shot a short film, which is doing really, really well in the short film circuit and winning all kinds of awards. And it's called Keepers of the Flame. And she is Mary Church Terrell. And it is the day before the very first Women's March when Mary Church Terrell and Alice Paul, the famous white suffragette, go head to head in a battle of wits and intelligence to allow the Black suffragettes from the Delta Sigma Theta sorority and the AKA. Right, because the Deltas, of course, I don't know if your viewers or listeners know this. The Deltas were created so that from young women who left the AKAs because they really wanted to be more demonstrative in the battle for suffrage for Black women. And so they, Mary Church Terrell went toe to toe with Alice Paul to include them in the parade. And so that's what that play is about, and that's what the short film is about as well. And we got some other stuff. Meseret and I have some other stuff coming up that we'll talk to you about soon.
Okay. No, that sounds good. And like you said, if you guys have not yet read it or listened to it, I do encourage you to listen to Black AF History. Okay.
Yes.
By Michael Harriot.
Michael Harriot, one of my favorite people. You know what you can
Homemade.
do too?
Uh-huh.
You can go to
Mm-hmm.
www.americanslaveryproject.org and listen to some of these short plays, because we have them all available on our website. We have 3 full-length plays and 6 one-acts for your
Mm-hmm.
education, amusement, and enjoyment. And
Yes.
we're really proud of all the things we've produced. And we've got some stuff upcoming. Can I talk about that?
Not yet. I'm going to come back to you.
Oh,
You know that for sure. So Subia, I got to find out. So where can I get the soundtrack?
I mean, I think we should record a cast album. Shar, I think
Bam.
we should record a cast
That
album.
might be upcoming.
Thank you. Because I remember before we actually went live, you were telling me about you looking around your apartment and looking at some of the merch here. So yes, that needs to be part of the merch there.
We have a couple of things. We have a very exciting summer, which we'll talk about later.
Okay. So definitely, Subia, do tell me
Yes.
what was it like feeling? Because I felt the real emotion coming out in that particular
Right.
piece. So yes,
Yeah.
so what were you? What was the particular mood that you were trying to put out there in that piece? Tell me. Let me
Honestly,
in. Mm-hmm.
absolutely. I felt like as soon as I started reading the source material, I immediately felt consumed with this feeling of joy, of love, but also a sort of desperation. I think as the song repeats and I keep singing, "Let me in so I can love you, let me in so I can love you," it's quite literally a plea of sorts, because I think it's me speaking not only to myself, but speaking to all of these feelings that I can't quite name yet, that I can't quite identify, but that I know are there. And those feelings, I think, are coming from, as Shar was saying earlier, just years and years of ancestral trauma and drama that have been repressed by my spirit blockers. And
Nice.
yeah, that was honestly my process when I was singing it. I wanted to feel like I was trying to reach for a feeling that I couldn't quite name, but a feeling that was still not foreign to me. It was something that I knew, even if I couldn't identify it yet. So yeah, that was my process.
Beautiful.
Thank
And,
you.
and I know, Charlene, we started down the road. We didn't really live in it, but talked about how when France got their butts kicked by Haiti
Ooh, we are
back in the
on
day.
FM radio, so I won't say how I feel about
Woo!
France.
Okay. But when they did get their butts kicked, how do you then compel a country to pay for their freedom and continue to pay for their freedom, and then hold yourself blameless? I mean, you got to tell me what's going
Yeah,
on here.
once again, the audacity of the imperialists. We see it
Mm,
everywhere. It's just, it's an ancestral, it's a spiritual sin. That's just
mm,
what it is. And thankfully, that's not something that we have to do the work of clearing, but we do have to do
mhm,
the work of remembering that we still have value, despite the fact that we've been consistently told that our freedom, our sanctity, our autonomy is not worth anything, and that there is no use in even trying to aspire to autonomy. Like, what's the point
mm.
of living if you can't be free?
Yes, indeed. And Night Watchman. So do tell me, because certainly I think Judy has left us back to the green room for a sec. But were you also studying under her? Understand, taking some playwright classes or something?
Yes, some script writing and screenwriting classes with Judy. Yes, absolutely.
Oh, okay. Do you have a part for me to play or what? I'm just checking. I'm just,
I want to
you
hear.
know, I
I
mean,
want to hear.
well,
Let them in so they can love you, baby.
to quote that famous song, everybody
uh,
plays the fool sometime.
wow. So, and you said you were not bringing heat this evening. That's what you told me. But
you,
anyway, you know what? Go ahead. What
you
was that?
asking me to cast you in a play that I haven't even finished writing, and it's like you don't even know what the part is. So You know, you just want to be famous. So I got a part that will make you famous. Absolutely.
Oh God. And anyway, I got to find out then. Charlie, I understand that you're going to be doing something in Harlem. So do tell.
Yeah. And by the way, Bob, cast people, even if that show's not finished yet. I'm telling you, that collaborative experience is so fulfilling. Child, I
Mhm.
still haven't finished my show. I mean, I
Okay.
finished my script and it's never gonna be done. You know, you keep
Mhm.
writing and rewriting. Anyway, do it early. Do it early.
Okay. All right, Curtis, you got a job.
Well, thank you. Thank you, Charlene, for definitely the advocacy. Okay. Yes, indeed.
If I'm gonna do one thing.
So now I'm kind of wondering. So I certainly do know that the experience, of course, in Harlem
Mhm.
was the Dutch. Okay, and that's
Yeah.
why Harlem is named after the Dutch village in
Mhm.
Amsterdam. Harlem with two A's. In Weeksville, what are we talking about?
So about 2 years ago, when we were at Weeksville, we were
Mm-hmm.
focusing on James Weeks, because one thing that's really
Mm.
interesting about Weeksville is that James Weeks was not the first person to have founded the land. First of all, the land was not founded; it was indigenous land from Lenni Lenape
Mm-hmm.
people.
Yes.
So it was actually called non-man's land because it was like a hilly experience, and it was really not great for the indigenous people to work with. And there was, of course, this indigenous and Black relationship that was going on. So the Black folks would say, okay, we're going to take this land. If that's okay, if y'all not using it, boom, we got it. We'll take what we can get. So before there was James Weeks, there was actually another Black man, Thomas. I forget his last name. Oof, don't drag me. His name was Thomas Powell. And so
Gotcha.
I always speculate, why was it not called? Why was it not named after Thomas? Why was it named after James Weeks? And
Yes.
so
Yes.
kind of feeling in my Judy energy, that speculative historical experience. I
Yes.
speculated that
Yes.
because James Weeks worked at the dock, that he maybe met some spirits that decided, instead of living in subjugation, I would rather die free.
Wow.
Um,
Wow.
so James
Mm.
Weeks, I speculate, in Bricks a couple years ago, took care of the water spirits that leapt for freedom from the ships. And being a porter man, he was able to care them, and then they blessed him by naming the land after him. That's what I speculate in Weeksville. Of course, taking those archives and then making some art out of it.
Charlene, you know I'm feeling the vibe. I'm seeing the spirit. I don't have blockers, as you see, so so they are right before me. So please, Subia, help me. You got on your blockers, I see, but you do
I
know
do, I do.
they're all around you. Yeah, yeah. See, Night Watchman. This is what happens when we have performers. You know this, right?
Oh,
Yeah.
Right. I was like, ooh, ooh.
we're silly.
It's like some of them have talked to some spirits before they got here.
see, Night Watchman. Why you start some
Different
stuff?
spirits, huh? Some rum spirits, some whiskey spirits, some gin spirits.
Wow.
Catch it.
Wow. So what do you have for our panel? Night Watchman. Nothing.
I just told my spirit joke. Wasn't that enough?
You know
Okay,
what, Mike?
Okay.
You know,
Go ahead, Judy. We got you.
I was just gonna. You guys remind me that my grandparents, my granddad was a doctor, and so I have that whole science part of my family, right? But my
Wow,
grandmother
nice.
was psychic, and she would talk to the spirits and operate the Ouija board. So I have no problem. I have no problem balancing out the world of the non-flesh with the understanding of the flesh. And
Oh,
a lot
oh.
of people find those things contradictory, but I don't at all.
Hmm.
No,
We gotta
well,
talk, Judy. We right here.
yeah, yes,
Me
yes,
too. Me too.
yeah, absolutely.
You know,
And
I
Judy,
love being on with you guys because,
oh,
Thank
like,
you.
I'm sorry, Curtis, but I just wanted to say so many young people would come to our shows, especially, before the pandemic, we were, rolling and rolling. And that you guys are who made me go back to school, because young people like you, no, you guys were having such incredible conversations with such vocabulary that was very specific and enlightening. And I wanted to know how do the young people know all this stuff? How do they talk like this? So I went back and got a master's degree in arts politics
Period.
2 years ago.
ooh, congrats,
Period.
yes,
All
yes,
right.
yes, yes.
Wow.
Very nice.
Education, curiosity, curiosity.
Education.
Yes.
Absolutely. So now, Judy, I think I had
Yeah.
stopped you, and you were going to expand and tell me about American Project, some of the stuff that you have in the works. So do tell
Yeah.
what's going on.
It's just so exciting to be back. You know what I mean?
Welcome back. Hmm.
We just, it's great. And this summer we are helping to co-produce a play by Camille Simone Thomas, Mud, When Things Get Messy and How
Oh
We Live
yes.
With It,
Woo,
which is
yes.
about a family dealing with one of their members with bipolar disorder. And it's going to be a full production, co-produced with She NYC, and American Slavery Project is jumping on in there to help her out. And
Nice, nice.
then we're developing a series of both drama, dance, and visual arts called Liminal Blackness. It's going to be a multimedia work, and we're doing that for this time next year. And so, we're really excited about kind of getting back in and mixing it all up, So,
Yes.
and I'm doing 2 medical plays.
Ooh,
It's so
wow.
interesting. I got commissioned to write a play about Charles Drew, the
Oh
famous
yes,
Charles.
yes.
Yes, who separated
Blood
learned
transfusion.
how to
Hell
separate
yeah,
blood.
that's right.
Yeah, and learned how to store blood, separate the plasma from the blood, save people on the battlefield. And then, of course, the American Red Cross wouldn't let him donate his own blood because he was a Negro.
Yes,
So,
yes.
but my take on that is how a lot of the early, obviously my grandfather being a doctor, I'm really interested in medicine, but how early Black people who were, in the United States just carried so much on their backs. They had to have this kind of tunnel vision toward the goal. And that was not just being a doctor for themselves, but bringing everybody along, and that was really what it was about, bringing all the people along. And then because I was doing that, another person approached me and asked me to write a play about David McDonough. I don't know if you have heard about him. He was an ophthalmologist. He was enslaved and became an ophthalmologist. Just
Wow,
walked.
wow.
Yeah, and so he's a pretty interesting character, and that's exciting. So I'm going to be working on that, and then of course more about the suffragettes. So American Slavery
Ab-
Project stuff going.
and Night Watchman, I basically have to also say, like Maya, and still I rise. And still I rise. Despite the fact that they put all this particular stuff on us, and still I rise. And Judy, I just have to ask, is Bob a good student? Because he says he's been working with you in terms of his writing. Is he a good student or what?
Yeah, yes. In fact, he is a good student. He needs to come back to class because I have to find out what happened to the Black Star Line.
Oh, wow,
Absolutely.
wow.
Yes.
See,
Yes.
that's right. See, I'm loving it. Subia, you hear this stuff. So tell me, in terms of some of the inspiration, history, our past, is this what's living and resonates with you?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. I feel like, so my family, I'm Kenyan American, and something
Ah,
that, yes,
welcome.
yes,
That's
yes.
right. Hmm.
And something that was very big in my family is that my dad always wanted to pass on stories, traditions, that
Hmm.
were passed on to him.
Nice.
So I really came into my own being with this knowledge that the power that I have in myself as a creative, as an artist, as a Black person, as a Black woman, I felt like, I carry all of that with me. And
Mm-hmm.
as we all do, And
Yes.
so I think approaching this material, approaching bricks, felt so monumental because it was my first professional gig outside of school after I graduated from Manhattan School of Music.
Woo!
Um,
Yes.
woo,
Congrats. Yes.
thank you. And
Nice.
and I just knew that it was such a privilege for me to be able to approach a material that was really so rich with history. And that I really had to show up every day to rehearsal with, not only myself, but really with my mind open because
Yes.
I
Yes.
was like, I'm gonna learn a lot of history. So yeah, that was honestly my journey approaching the material and bringing the knowledge that I know about my own Blackness and
Mm-hmm.
knowledge that honestly has just not been taught to me, and that
Mm-hmm.
I had to learn.
Yes.
So yeah,
Yes.
yeah.
Absolutely. And Charlene, I got to give you major props because I think
Thank
early on, I think in the relationship, let's say with Gabriel, I just knew that you're a
My
conscious woman.
man. Oh, thank
Yes, yes, good brother. Except for the Man City thing, he's a good guy. He is absolutely good guy. But
We accept him. We accept him.
yes, indeed. So you have to tell me, have you always had this conscious strain?
Well, I went to Howard for a couple years. I dropped out.
Oh, it's you.
HU. I mean, I can't. I don't know. I'm not alum. I dropped out. You know what I'm saying?
Okay,
But I
okay.
definitely went. I was
Yes.
there.
Okay.
And no, I feel like it was a journey as well. I think when you're in an anti-Black world, you have to really actively fight to
Yes.
self-determine a lot of things for you. And once you
Yes.
have to self-determine just the root of who you even are, everything comes into question.
Yes.
And so I think it just realizing that like I had a moment in college where I was like, damn, like they really had me in the first half. They really did. I'm gonna turn this around for myself
Yes.
because I don't want to spend the rest of my life not liking who I am and in all the ways that it is. So to me, like
Absolutely.
consciousness is just self-love work. Yeah.
Beautiful, beautiful. And Night Watchman, I understand that we have something else queued up. Is that correct?
Charlene, what would you like to hear?
Yeah, next let's do Spirit Blocker song. So this is Power of
Oh,
Pink.
I got to
Okay.
get my spirit block. I know I still see them. Okay, Night Watchman, go ahead, roll it.
I love this song.
Thank you.
Now you have been oh so strong, set it free. For your right, the ceiling was wrong. Slide it on, experience no more. Not quite gone, but we'll ignore. Now they're just the folks sleeping on stairs, just one man. Not caring. See no more. Don't even think. Don't even think. Close that
Okay. Subia, you got some range up in this bad boy. Okay. What? Or as Denzel would say, Minnie Riperton ain't got nothing on you. Okay. Thank you, Mom.
Yes, yeah.
I wish I could claim that voice. I wish I could claim that voice. But that's actually one of my castmates, Lauren, singing down, singing down. So
Yes.
as soon as I heard it, I was like, Lauren,
Lauren,
that's my girl. That's my girl.
We speak your name, Lauren
Yes.
Santana. They play Colette, who is Mael's mother. So at this moment, Mael's like, I got you something. I made you something. You are never gonna see this ever again.
Right.
I cannot believe so. So literally, Charlene, were you also casting a person there for the play?
Yeah, listen, I'm an independent artist. Eventually, people will make this way easy for me, but until then, I'm gonna do every dang thing myself. Yeah, I cast as well. Thank you.
Which is why, Night Watchman, we got to go. You know this.
Please do.
Yeah, well, the importance of the work that all of you guys are doing really just can't be overstated. Now, we have a weird time where they're trying to erase Black history. And so, what you guys are doing to basically tell the stories that haven't been told are so important. And even when people get, to touch material, like, okay, I think we've all heard about the new animated version of Good Times, which was apparently had no Black creatives on board when they did it.
No, say it ain't so. Really?
Well, I mean, Steph Curry was on as an executive producer, but I think he was just there to lend the name. Obviously, he doesn't come from that kind of creative background. Wow. And it was just chock full of stereotypes, which was just such a affront to the original series, which just portrayed a real family going through real things, but never never in a stereotypical or just so this is the world that we're dealing with now. The good thing is that there's more of a creator economy now. There are so many different ways that people can monetize, and the tools to create these stories are so much more accessible than they were. So I just see a bright future for all of you. And Judy is Judy has experience, but she's still young. So
good. Absolutely. And you know what I want to know? Okay, so I've been doing a lot of reading, listening to audiobooks, because my wife is a voiceover talent, right? So two things. One of the books that she did was the 272, and the 272 slaves who were sold to build what? Georgetown University.
Right.
Okay. And a number of these readings that I've been doing, the name that comes up, and ladies, please, I encourage you to please maybe even do a play about her, and that could only be Ida B. Wells.
Of course.
Okay, talk to me. Go ahead. Go ahead. She on the list? She on the list?
She's on the list.
Tell me the short list. The short list. That's it.
Yeah,
because
the short list.
Because certainly, and we know, because we are in part of a patriarchal society. So yeah, the dudes, they get a lot of shine. So we know about Booker T. We know about W.E.B., But Ida B., in terms of that whole thing, anti-lynching stuff, come on.
Right.
She was one of the most brave women ever. And I'm looking for movies. I'm like, this is one of the reasons I started writing this stuff, because because I grew up knowing these stories, these books were on our shelves. And I kept thinking, well, certainly somebody's made a play about this person. Certainly somebody has made a film or a television show about these people. And there aren't. So, it was like Charlene was saying, well, if you don't see it, you got to do it yourself. And so I take that as a mandate. If you don't like what you see, then you just do it yourself. So that's what I'm doing, just trying to do these things myself.
Yes, indeed. And so yesterday, I was at the Harlem State Office Building, and on the second floor, and this was a forum also sponsored by State Senator Cordell Clare, and it was about, remember, there's been a bill entered in the state legislature regarding to study reparations. Now, there are a number of people, both black and white, who did not know or believe that slavery actually occurred in New York. Yeah. I mean, come on now. It wasn't as simple black and white that the South bad, North good, South slavery, North no slavery. Do tell, Judy.
But you know, see,
what did
that's just crazy because people just don't understand that there was slavery in the North. I teach this stuff in schools, and I just recently did a class in Connecticut where and I wrote a play called Project X for college in Connecticut. And you know, one of the things we did is we went into archives and got material, records, deeds, but also physical material, bracelets and manacle type things, and and we introduced those to the young people who are going to be writing monologues for characters. But just because New York abolished slavery in 1827 and the rest of the country didn't, it's like, oh, we can shake our finger at you. As if it had never happened. But enslavement was all over the United States then, the number of states that there were. It was everywhere. And we just we can't forget that. It may not, and also the way enslavement was done is different. We're a small town south of what is now everything is into Wall Street or whatever. But that's where we had one of the largest slave auction blocks in the entire country. Next only to South Carolina, right?
Wow. And that's true. That's true.
So that's not that's
no.
That's not a thing. Don't be shaking your finger because you got rid of slavery like 30 years.
Well, not only that, even after we got rid of slavery, we were still the place that financed it because New York was the finance capital of the world. So all of the loans and insurance and the whole collateralization of slaves, which is that, that's the part that, growing up, listening to the history we're taught, they never really taught us about the business aspect of it and how slavery was actually collateralized.
Well, and that brings us to today, and that's because now we're financing a genocide in Palestine. So that's why we need this education, so we can understand, like, hey, we've experienced this. We know what it's like to fund a genocide of people. So what are we as artists doing to stop the war machine, to stop the brutality, to stop the apartheid that is occurring in Palestine? Because we as enslaved people, I'm Haitian on both sides, so I know all about resistance. I know all about what it really means, resistance. And that is our bodies on the line as well. It's also shaping the culture and building those connections and saying, hey, the Black and Palestinian struggle are right next to each other. It's been right next to each other since the 70s, since way before that, actually. Even in the last 10 years ago, Palestinians teaching Black freedom fighters in Ferguson how to wash out gas from their eyes.
Wow.
Violence. So that relationship is right next to itself.
Incredible. And now, Watchman, did I hear something that you were working on something regarding the Black Star Line and Marcus Garvey?
That is correct.
Oh, okay. And
so and you'll be playing Marcus Garvey since we're lobbying for.
No. But I will say, and I will claim it. Okay. So if you check records, my grandfather, Jeremiah J. Peters, was head of the Chicago chapter of the UNIA. So yes, I will play Garvey. Okay, I will.
I didn't know you had Chicago family. Yes. Curtis, I'm from Chicago, right? My family's from Chicago.
I did not know that. Oh my God.
Outside, strong.
Yes. So then, Judy, do tell me now, because I remember traveling there with my mother one time, and going to this department store. I don't know if it's still there, called Goldblatt's.
Yes. No, I don't think it's still there, but
Okay.
Goldblatt's was one of the stores, you know.
My
That,
God.
that's the
Wow.
beauty. You know, Ruben Santiago Hudson wrote about this in his
Yes.
Lackawanna Blues, but it's
Mm-hmm.
the same sort of principle, you know, front and back, the bigger the front, the bigger the back. So
Mm.
redlining was a thing. Black people had to
Yep.
live in a certain area. We were all crowded in together. But one of the beauties of my childhood was the fact that, you know, all the doctors were Black, all the pharmacists were Black, the car
Yeah.
dealers, the lawyers, the bankers, you know. So
Mm-hmm.
I didn't, you know, when I came out into the world, so to speak, I had no self-esteem issues because, you know, except the very, very personal ones that I won't tell you. But, but you know, it didn't occur to me that Black people couldn't be just anything, because we were, and I saw it and I witnessed it, and my family was, and you know, so I feel like that beautiful, beautiful upbringing helped to, and also the books we had on our shelves about
Yes.
Black
Yes.
history, because you know, you didn't learn it in school, but we
Nope.
sat down and we learned it, and my mother made
Mm.
sure we knew it, and we had
Mm-hmm.
memorized all the names of all the wonderful
Yeah.
people who had invented things and were
That's
Black.
right. That's
Yeah.
so true. And Subia, so I did my DNA ancestry. So I thought I was, you know, West Africa. I thought Cote d'Ivoire, Mali, Senegal, you know, Guinea, right? But it turns out I'm 39% Nigerian.
Oh, I love
Yeah.
Nigeria.
Yes.
And that scares me because I'm apparently about 33% Nigerian, so we might be related.
Oh no! No, not
Is there
that.
no
Not
Ghana
that.
in the
Please.
house? Ghana.
Ah!
52%.
Okay.
Wow. So do tell. I mean, knowing, like I said, knowing our history, knowing that it is rich, that it is vibrant, and then somehow remember there is no Black history. It's American history.
Right.
You know,
That's
bottom
right.
line,
It is
this is
American
our experience.
history.
Yes.
Right.
And so white folks want to say, oh, well, you got to have some white history. No. American history is Black history, plain and simple.
Right.
But go ahead. Do
That's
tell me
right.
your experience.
Yeah, well, but we tell the history that people don't want to hear
Yes.
because, you know, part of maintaining the illusion of America is erasing all the trauma that went forth before we got here, and that's been consistent with Black history. Is that there have been so many, you know, we know about the Tulsa. You know, we know more about Tulsa now than we ever did. You know, I never heard about Tulsa when I was in high school, and it wasn't until recently with the Watchman series on HBO that was ever even portrayed on film before that. And so now
Very true.
we know about it, but there's so many things that are either erased or incorrect. As a matter of fact, we talked about New York slavery. Sojourner Truth, or originally she was Isabel Van Wagenen, which came from New
Dutch.
York
That's right.
slavery,
Yeah.
and she didn't she didn't speak English until she was you know, in her teens. She spoke Dutch because she was enslaved with a Dutch family. And so
Correct.
why people try to portray Sojourner Truth with a Southern accent and talking about ain't I a woman, that was a fiction, again, made up by people who are changing the narrative, that everybody who is slaved have to sound like they come from down south, and it negates, you know, what slavery was in the North. So we have to bring all these nuances back and tell the stories as they actually occurred, and bring the spirits back, of course, too.
Absolutely.
And you know, things do come back. It's just like, well, in Weeksville, you were talking about that a lot. In the African burial ground, you know, we will not stay buried. Those bodies came right up during the excavation for the African you know, for the office building. And you know what I was told? I was told by a woman who had worked with us for a while that the grave, she was actually from Ghana as well. The graveyard is where the matters were adjudicated. The graveyard was the center of the court in her culture, and
Wow.
and I thought, well, isn't that amazing that right, that our whole court system would be right there over somewhere between 10 and 30,000 Black graves.
Yes. Yeah. You cannot have written it better, for sure. And one of the other things, and I'm just putting this out there. And Charlene, I know you know this stuff because you are a student of history. So my uncle Cecil Curl, he was a Tuskegee Airman, right? So he served World War II. He was a mechanic. So he serves his country with distinction, and then tries to get a job working for Pan Am. Could he get a job working for Pan Am? So he ends up doing what a number of Blacks who served valiantly, he ends up working for the federal system, for the post office. And that's just the reality. So just talking about maybe a story like that about, because Black people, we believe in the system. We believe in America. We just want it to be better than what it is.
Oh, I don't believe in America.
Ooh, get out of here. Get out of here, Sean. Let me hear.
I believe in the ideals. And I think it's Black people that have kept America, as much as America kicks and screams, it's Black people that have kept up with, we want America to live up to the ideals it professes. Because I think those are worthy ideals that are professed, but America's never kept its word, and so we have been the only people to keep America's feet to the flame, so to speak.
Holding them accountable. That's right. So, Night Watchman, we're getting into, as I say, that lightning round, babe. So, what we gonna do?
Everybody, we're going into the lightning round. You have a chance for some last words before we close this up.
Okay, Charlene, you're up.
Hey y'all, so thank you so much for this time. I really appreciate just the conversation. It's just so great to have these intergenerational conversations about time, about the ancestors, about the land, about the spirit. Judy, we have so much in common.
Yes.
We have.
We're gonna get together
for connecting us. I actually the dramaturgy for Mud, so I'll be checking you out. So I'm really
the dramaturgy for
yeah.
I am so excited.
Oh my God! See.
This is just amazing.
Isn't that crazy?
Yeah.
So places that you can check out Bricks at. We're going to be performing at 54 Below. It's like the Broadway Supper Club.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, right in the heart of Times Square. So if you're not in the hustle and bustle, we'll be having a 9:30 performance on Juneteenth. It's going to be it's going to be so fun.
Okay.
It's going to be so fun.
We coming through. We coming through with the heat, okay?
So if you want to get your tickets, it's at 54below.com/bricks. BRICKS. 54below.
You got it.
Bricks.
For sure. Okay. Subia.
As in building blocks.
So do tell us, what do you got on the horizon besides being at 54 Below? What you got?
Absolutely. So coming up, I'm releasing a jazz album because some of what I studied at MSM was jazz. So I'm really looking forward to my jazz album coming out. And I also do a little bit of stand-up comedy every now and then. So I also just want to say thank you so much for having us today. It felt really, really great to not only share a lot about Bricks, but also just to hear like so much of the stories that you guys had to share, and also the histories that are just not taught, not told. So just thank you so much for having us and for hearing our story. And as Shar said, please come see our show at 54 Below. And just thank you again. This was wonderful.
Trust me, Subia, we will be in the audience. Okay, trust.
I know that's right.
And Judy, what you got on the horizon? Talk to me.
Oh, we've got Keepers of the Flame doing the short film festival circuit. And so if you happen to be a short film festival buff, please look for Keepers of the Flame and give it a view. Also, go to AmericanSlaveryProject.org and listen to some of our enhanced audio dramas. We have several enhanced audio dramas with visuals you can rest your eye on while you listen to the plays, and they're all there on the website. And just keep us in mind, because we'll be sending out wonderful invitations to things we do throughout the year.
Beautiful. And Night Watchman, I know we have one last clip. You're gonna play it as we take us out. And what have these people been listening to?
Charlene.
Yes. So this is my little cousin Kevin, and they play one of their name is
Gotcha.
So
and Night Watchman, can you remind us what we're listening to in terms of Soul Lounge Primetime? Go ahead.
What are we listening to?
No, I
Soul
said
Lounge Primetime. I know. I was kidding. Soul Lounge Primetime. We're on WHCR 90.3 FM, the voice of Harlem. Also live streaming on YouTube and Facebook every Monday night. You can find us on the radio at 7 and online at 8 o'clock Eastern time. So thank you for joining us, and come back next week.
And Night Watchman, you know what? I love this crew, so they will be invited back to the cookout. What do you think?
Absolutely.
All right. I am so happy to meet you guys.
All right.
Likewise.
Okay.
All right. Take care, guys.